Good afternoon and namaste. My talk was about production of skilled and qualified manpower for development of adventure tourism in Nepal. So under which we have Nepal Mountaineering Association, Khumbu Climbing Center. Uh, we are working to achieve the same goal. I think it would be very unfair to start my talk without remembering Sared. If you look at the picture, this is myself. This was me 24 years ago in Kumjung School, which was the first school that was built by Sared, and then he started building hundreds of schools, and this is the school here. Sared is really the godfather of the Sherpa people of Khumbu. We're really grateful for him, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. I went to the very uh, school that he built in 1960s, and I got opportunity to go to school and become who I am today. So talking about Nepal Mountaineering Association is the national alpine organization of Nepal, of which I'm also the executive member. So it's a member of the UIAA. The main mission of Nepal Mountaineering Association is production and development of skilled manpower to promote adventure tourism in Nepal by running different courses like basic mountaineering course, advanced mountaineering course, high mountain rescue trainings, rock and ice climbing courses, mountain leader course, and it's because of Nepal Mountaineering Association that we have now UIAGM guide course and also guides in Nepal. And NMA also plays a major role in conserving and preserving mountain environment in Nepal. So these are some of the pictures of the various trainings, which I was also involved as an instructor. So recently, I just introduced a helicopter martial course in Nepal as the increasing use of helicopters in Nepal. Now it's becoming very popular, and most of the people are not aware of the risks and dangers around working around a helicopter. So since last year, I introduced this course. I'm also the coordinator of the mountain rescue committee within Nepal Mountaineering Association. And talking about the environmental aspect, this is the president of UIAA. He was involved in planting trees in one of the programs run by NMA. So this is talking about Khumbu Climbing Center. The main mission of Khumbu Climbing Center is to promote safe and responsible climbing practices in Nepal. So it was started by Conrad Anker, a very well-known climber, American climber, after his friend Alex Lowe died on Shishapangma. So the school is based in Fortse village in the Everest region. They run basic and advanced climbing courses, so they teach about all the safety things that needs to be considered on the mountain while climbing. And we do also practice leave no trace. I went to Knowles in the US to do my diploma in outdoor educator and leadership course. That's where I learned leave no trace. And we have, in the past, it used to be more foreign instructors and less local instructors, but now we have more local instructors and less foreign instructors. So far, over 10, 12 years, we've trained more than 600 plus students from different parts of Nepal. In the beginning, it used to be all these students from the Khumbu area, but now we have people coming from all over Nepal. And one of the good things we have is the exchange program with the National Park Services in the US, with Denali National Park, Yosemite National Park. That's a way some of the instructors and also the top students, they go there to gain the experiences and learn something else. And also the National Park Rangers from the US, they come to Khumbu Climbing Center as instructors and share their knowledge. So pretty much this is operated and run on volunteer and donations. So the cost per year we run a course is about $40,000. And for the participant, it's very cheap actually. It's just 2,500 rupees to 4,000 rupees. That's what they have to pay to register and also get the gears and equipments. For more information, you can check Alex Lowe website. So as you see in the picture here, we have all the volunteers from the US. They are from the National Park Services in Denali. Steve Mock is the director right now. He's a university professor. This is Rennie Jackson, also from the National Park. So this is our team all the time, some foreign volunteers and also local instructors. And I volunteer every year as well since 2012. So this is the activity we undertake. So this is the training spot. This is, we have to walk 1.5 hours to get up there and also 1.5 hours to get back to the village. This is a group photo of the participants and the instructors after the course. First aid training during the course. Well, before I start on the next slide, I wanted to just give you an idea why Himalayan Medics was started. I started and I lead the thing right now. So this was the picture that my parents wanted to see me as a doctor wearing a white coat, and this is in UK during my training. But now, because of my passion and my interest and the need that I sort of saw, when I was working on the mountains, there was a need to train the local Sherpas, guides in medical aspect. Technically, NMA and KCC were doing fine, but we still lack the medical aspect. So now my parents can see me in many different forms. So this was me, being a medical expert for the BBC production, honey hunting, taking care of the crew. That was me on Everest. I often run medical camps up in the mountains. There is more need in Nepal, out of the hospital, because Nepal is a very remote area, very wilderness area. The nearest hospital from a village could be 2 hours to 2 days to 4 days walk. So I thought, people need the basic knowledge about first aid and stuff. So then I started Himalayan Medics with a mission to promote education and awareness on first aid, patient care, and risk management to prevent and minimize casualties. What I do is we train, we educate climbing guides, trekking guides, and the local community in health and safety issues. I teach first aid courses, light search and rescue, disaster preparedness, emergency response, etc. So basically, it's all about raising awareness and education about emergency preparedness. So training in wilderness first aid. Since 2 years ago, Himalayan Medics in collaboration with Knowles WMI, we've been running wilderness first responder courses in Nepal, and I've been sort of urging all the guide companies to, sort of send the Sherpas to get training. What I think is having a doctor in base camp doesn't really make a big difference when you have a situation higher up on the mountain, because I don't know, there's nothing much the doctor in base camp can do when there's a situation up in Camp 4. But whereas if the Sherpas have the basic knowledge, they are the first responders, so they can actually make a big difference up on the mountain. I wrote to a lot of companies, and we have a guy here from AC. He's been sending his climbing Sherpas since we started the course 2 years ago. Also had Hymex, Russell Bryce, he also sent his climbing Sherpas. Because the course is quite expensive, I have to bring all the technical team from US. So there's a lot of travel costs and also the tuition fee as well. So it is in-house, 10 days, 80 hours standard course. Besides, whenever I'm not working on the mountain, I volunteer. And I teach basic first aid, light search and rescue stuff in the villages. And also not only teach and train, but conducting mock drills to get them used to it. And also we volunteer medical teams for various events in Nepal, like especially sports. And also we respond to disasters. So the team comprises of the people that receive the WFR training. So these are some glimpses of the trainings that we do. So we have the guides training here undergoing the WFR training. These are mountain guides. We provide them with all the real stuff to get them used to using them. So we also do like night scenarios to get them used to working in challenging environments. This is in the villages. Now I've been working since last year in a couple of villages in Khumbu. At least 14 villages now I've covered, training over 600 villagers. So this is the very popular, very famous icefall doctors. They do the most dangerous job, but they had no skills they didn't even have first aid skill. So I trained them and I provided them with first aid kit. So right now I'm working in the villages to sort of establish and build a community emergency response team, starting from my own very village, Khumbu. So last year I approached the Greater Himalayas Foundation. I think Lisa should be here as well. So they gave me some fund, and then I was able to get all these gears up there and also do the training. I tell you, even in the hospitals in Kathmandu, they don't have this equipment. I imported them all of them, and I needed to find a way to get them to the communities, because I'm not in a position to donate right now. And one of the things that really makes me happy about my job, working on the mountain and remote areas, is like, I don't do operations or something up on the mountain. I do the very simple, very basic stuff that makes a difference to the life of the people up there. So this is one of our climbing Sherpa. His finger got crushed while he was trying to fix the base camp, and then all I had to do was just do some simple dressing, and in next 2 days, he's well recovered and can work again. It makes his life easier. I treat blisters, that makes a difference. I don't really do all the high-tech stuff on the mountain, but simple things that matter. So this is myself again, teaching people up in the villages, teaching people CPR. So I use this washing ball to, just sort of get the rhythm going. And oftentimes these days, like people ask me, why your village? Why the Sherpa people all the time? Or why your particular village? The reason behind this is, for me, this is something completely new in Nepal. And to get the things done, it's very easier. It's easier for me to do in a place that I'm familiar with. So I can talk to the people, I can convince the people instead of going to a different place that I'm not familiar with. So if this concept works well in my area, then I can slowly replicate in other places in the future. Well, we all know about this. In 25th April in Nepal, we had a very strong earthquake. I would say we were just lucky, although we lost a lot of life, it's about 10,000 people, but it could have been worse, 100,000 plus, because of our lack of trained and qualified professionals to respond to emergency immediately and effectively. When there's an emergency situation, what matters is being like immediate and effective, But we are not in that position, but we were just lucky, nothing really happened. So the main objective of Himalayan Medics that I started was to start, sort of establish community emergency response team in every village in Khumbu. And also create a fund by the villagers themselves. Every household in the village can contribute some amount of money every year to raise a fund so that in times of emergency, or if they need some, for example, if someone is really sick and needs an evacuation, they can use the money to send this village guy to the hospital. And also during natural disasters, instead of waiting for the government and also waiting for donors to step in, and it might be too late. And at the same time, I'm also quite worried about the medical training standards in Nepal for trekking and mountain guides. This is the need that I saw, need creates drive and drive creates action. That's when I was working on the mountain, climbing myself, seeing all the I was involved in a lot of accidents and rescue missions. I was up in Manaslu 2012 in autumn when there was a big avalanche. In Everest 2 years, and I was in Dhaulagiri for rescue. Well, there were so many helping hands, but I had no really trained and professional people who could just take the lead. They would all depend on me or someone else who is medically trained. And also in the futures, through all these trainings and effort, try to establish and help establish a mountain search and rescue team, rescue in Nepal. It's really, right now, if you go to Nepal, as you all know, you're on your own. If there is a problem, it's either your guiding company or the Sherpa with you that's responsible to keep you alive. There is nothing from the government that will actually ensure and guarantee that you'll be taken care. And ultimately, yes, of course, to establish a foundation for emergency medical services in Nepal. I've had the privilege to go to all the countries in the best places to train, and when I see the setup there, I sort of like think, why can't we do this in Nepal? And the message that I'm trying to get across to all the people is all day, every day, practice safety first. So way forward, this is more in context of Nepal with the Nepal Mountain Association, Khumbu Climbing Center, and also the Himalayan Medics that I'm leading. We need to sort of ensure health and safety. Health and safety is important to promote adventure tourism in Nepal. If the tourists coming to Nepal feel that there is someone who can really take care of you very well in times of this emergency situation, then I think you would feel more comfortable to come there. Instead of knowing, like I said before, you're on your own, then you might have to sort of think again. So in Nepal, I think this is really important. So and to make this happen, the coordination and collaboration between different organizations to provide needed training is really important. So Nepal Mountaineering Association, KCC, and many other organizations, they should really work together to make things happen. And well, I wanted to touch a little bit on the environmental aspect of this because of the. So this is Roger and myself in Denali. I've been hearing a lot of. I'm not an expert in this field, but again, what I wanted to say is like, you know, if you feel that something needs to be done, you just got to do it. So Roger came up with this idea, and I said, as an expedition leader, it's my duty to sort of like, you know, make my members do things. If you can sort of convince them to do it, we can do it. So yesterday he showed the picture with the empty cans. Now this is the picture with all the full cans. We brought back and gave it to him. Yeah, we had to wrap in a plastic bag before we could put it on the plane. Yeah. And also just wanted to, this is from a very medical point of view, I'm a medical doctor. When you talk about emergency and urgency, so how do we relate this to environmental, waste management, overcrowding, preserving nature, climate change issues? I think if you are in the medical context, emergency refers to threat to life, needing immediate action to save life, and urgency refers to immediate need of action in a given time to prevent it from becoming an emergency. So I think all the environmental experts here maybe can think about, you know, we've been talking a lot about all the waste management, environmental issues. Is it really an emergency or is it just urgent thing? So if you all the WH questions, maybe you can find a solution. To find a solution or the best solution in everyone's best interest, respecting the social, environmental, and economic values. And just to conclude, I would like to say, like, you know, this is what I think. This is my personal opinion. The solution to our problems must come from within the country, not from abroad. The because like we've been hearing in the couple of days a lot of, you know, like models and practices that has been adopted in many different countries, places, but that maybe not necessarily, that may not be applicable in another place. So I think we need to look into you know, like the solution to our problems in our own country, how we can make things happen. Of course, we can get ideas from other places, but I think it's very difficult to say this is the best practice and this should be adopted everywhere else. Thank you.